Hello, do you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, that's my mic messing up things. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Um,
Okay. Little bit new to this.
oh yeah, sorry about that. I thought this would be easier than Skype, but I guess it's the same amount of of effort to sort of get connected to it. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Really fine. It's Saturday and it's in the evening here and in the
Mm,
morning there, I assume.
yeah,
Uh, you got to take it slow for me because it's I find it's more easy to chat with people in English when I see them. I think mostly because then you can respond to when they don't act, they don't understand what you're saying. You
sure.
can, yeah. But this will do fine.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah,
Just it's just mostly kind of a casual chat. I'm just curious to know more about you and about the art that you've been creating. So I saw that to be honest with you, it was a
yeah,
little tricky doing research on the history of processor just because I found one thing that said 2001 and then there's not really a back catalog. Can you just sort of give me like a brief history of Processor and who you are, I guess?
yeah. You know, this is something that I should have done years ago, but
Mm,
I haven't. I haven't done anything to describe what I'm doing or what it is or where it came from and anything. And that's I know that's a really really bad thing because people can't connect to you or anything. It's just music,
mm,
and I know I'm. This is probably the first time I'm on it to speak about it.
mm,
Honestly, I just do music and I don't say much about it. But I know that I have to do it, and I really want to do it also. But it's you're pushing things away and you don't do it just. But I'm going to tell you. I started doing the music. I send over a video to you. You send a music video to me just for show, and I saw it was Dance with the Dead.
yes.
Or yeah, great band, love them. Don't listen to them so much, but I'm obviously they're in my feed, so I hear them a lot.
Sure.
I love them. I sent you something also. I sent you a trailer for the
Yeah.
Untouchables.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm aware of the film, but I've never actually sat and watched it from start to finish, to be honest.
that's how old are you?
I'm about to turn 39 in a couple of weeks here.
39. Oh,
Mm.
39. Okay, and you haven't seen that.
No,
Okay, that's
it's
a milestone.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that I miss. Like I've seen like The Godfather and Goodfellas and like a lot of the and Casino, a lot of the films that like are sort of shelf partners of something like
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Untouchables, but I haven't sat down and actually put my eyeballs to do it.
The thing about the Untouchables is that we had a VCR player or a VH
Oh,
VHS
VHS, yeah.
player. Yeah, and that was the first film that we recorded. So I had that film
Mm,
only, that movie to look at when I didn't have anything to do. So I was about 13 years old. I'm born in 75. So I believe it was aired on national TV 88 maybe,
sure.
and we recorded it and I watched it over and over again.
Mm,
And I just wanted to do that kind of music. I heard Ennio Morricone. I didn't know who he was, or I didn't
right.
care. I just loved the music, and it's right there. Right there, it started.
Mm,
That's what I wanted to be. do that kind of music. I'm not doing that kind of music right now, but
Sure.
that's what started it. So that's the real break of deal. That's where I got my first Atari,
Gotcha.
the 1030 STE, and that's where I started to do MIDI, and everything is put to place there from there on. So that's the starting point of processor, indeed, I can say.
Gotcha. Okay. And the thing that the article I stumbled over, I don't recall the website that it was on, but it was Magnatune, and it said that it
Yeah,
was had two members. But is it
yeah, yeah.
just you or?
It, it is just me who is doing music for processor right now.
Gotcha.
Have always been the front figure of the band doing the
Gotcha.
music. I had another dude called Björn Wonderlek,
Hmm.
and he was a part of the band 2002 to 2007, I think.
Gotcha.
Rarely a couple of albums we did there, and he made at that time. I was just receiving things from him, like
Hmm.
really weird noises and beats, and I was really loop based, sample based music, and
Right.
only did sample things. And uh, but things happen, you know.
Sure.
You lose, you lose companionships and everything, and but right there it was working. But now I'm doing all that stuff. I'm
Hmm.
not. I have a non-sample format, or only playing synthesizers and
Gotcha.
obviously drum machines and
Sure.
such things. So he is not in the picture anymore.
Gotcha.
Uh, so we started all together playing around '99, I think, for the
Hmm.
first time. And then we called ourselves Isaac, as in my after name. My name is Johan Isaksson. So
Hmm.
Isaac. So that was the first. We did a couple of shows
Gotcha.
under
Okay.
that name. So,
Um,
but he's not in the picture anymore. And so
Gotcha.
everything that is on the internet is incorrect,
Gotcha.
because
I mean, to be fair, that was just like one random website. So,
yeah,
because I mean, everything else
that
is was a little bit difficult to kind of track down.
I know.
Oh, it's okay. I'm not,
The
I'm not
last
giving you shit about it.
the last year I have gained pretty good publicity around the music, and
Hmm.
that's the biggie. That's the big question everybody is asking. Well, so what is processor? What has happened? And I, won't- I have nothing to say. I
Hmm.
don't know what to say, and it's you should write everything down the way it should be, and I'm going to do it, but when I do it, I don't get it right, but I'm going to do it. I
Okay.
promise you.
All right. All right. I'll hold you to
Mm.
it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I have to say it's so interesting to hear that what really set you on this path was Morricone. Because when I listen to Processor, which I do frequently, it has been just one of the best discoveries I've had in the past year.
Okay.
And thank you so much. It's just been absolutely wonderful to listen to. I've been, anybody who has ears, I've just been banging on to them about it. You got to listen to Processor. Um, and
Oh, that's great.
I've just been loving it, but I honestly, at no point when I was listening to your music did I think to myself, "Wow, this is somebody you know, who has listened to Morricone or might have a deep appreciation for Morricone." Have you, when you first kind of started out, was the music you were making more of that sort of soundtrack, you know, John
Yeah.
Carpenter, Goblin kind of thing?
Yeah, it was in the beginning. It was really slow and emotional things. Not that good, obviously, but it was that kind of thing. But after not that long, I gone into the drum and bass and more techno drum and bass music, and I stayed there for a couple of years and went back to sampling format around '99, and so I started, but I always have that cinematic feeling.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely.
I want it, but I know also that it isn't so fun to listen to. Not for my own. If I think to my own, how I'm listening to music, I don't appreciate listening to cinema soundtrack all the time because
Right.
it's not that uplifting. So naturally, I want to do music that is more up tempo, more voices, and just regular pop. And now it's industrial also, and so it's a very big mix up, and I know that the genre processor is so wide that
right.
when I release an album or just I don't mostly I release singles, I can understand that people are stop following me because it's hard to keep it in a line. I get it that I probably should do only industrial music right now because that's where my biggest fan base is.
Right.
So that's a fact. But you do want to do different things. So
sure.
That's why it's very different genres. Now, just recently I've been hooking up with a dude called Sam Fisher from Wisconsin. He's better to talk to. He's only 7 hours away. So we have our sessions around 4 to 10 in my time, and started a new band called Modesty Beast.
Oh, and, yeah, I saw you sent me the single for that. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, thank you. And you hear the voice; it's amazing. He got a deep voice, and I think this is going to be so good. Then we also did a couple of pop tracks or pop/synth indie tracks that we're going to release on the Small Civil War new band also that's coming up in 2 weeks, I think.
Gotcha.
And I hope after Modesty Beast has been releasing at the same time as Processor as a divided release, but I'm going to release Modesty Beast and that band is going to go for its own, but for now I'm using Processor as to drive audience to it so they can discover it and see how it's going.
I will tell you
I probably should have done this before. I have another band also, just only me. That's Wicked Boy,
Mhm.
and that's only me, and has always only been me. But I don't know how important it is for genre speaking. I don't know if it is important or not.
I mean, I
I
feel like
know,
it's not. I feel like it's genre is just I feel like it's just sort of they're like signposts, right? Like this way for
yeah,
this thing. And I mean, the thing that I found so compelling about Processor was, and part of the reason I've been recommending it to so many people who come from very different musical backgrounds. Like,
yeah,
I suggested it to a friend of mine who's like an old stoner metalhead kind of a guy, and he was like, "This is amazing!" Like he was like just really enamored with it. So it has like a broad universal appeal. So I think the genre thing is mostly just like a kind of a signpost. I've also got another friend who's like a younger Latino, who's really into like American pop music, right? Like the top
yeah,
top
yeah.
40, whatever. And I sent it over to him, and again, he listened. He was like, I put Majesty on. I listened to it start to finish. It was so good. Um, and it has such a broad universal appeal. So to me, I don't know that genre matters as much anymore. But I'm glad that more. You did indicate that you're starting to see more traffic coming your way because of dipping into the industrial music scene.
Yeah.
Was industrial like a big influence on you, or have you always just set out to do your own thing?
That's the real thing about me. I don't know if I do uh, my own thing because I'm like a I'm like a sponge,
Mm,
musically. So if I make my mind up and just listen to a couple of tracks that I really love, um, then after a while I'm starting doing that type of music, and
mm,
it's pretty quickly I do it. So then I can listen to uh, really hard rock, trash rock, obviously,
mm,
and industrial, obviously also. Uh, but then I try to do the same, but it's getting another edge when I do it because I want it in my way. I can see that this is something that I can do in a different way.
mm.
So I'm really careful about what I'm listening to because if I started just listening to the radio in Sweden, for
Mm.
instance, I would get influenced by that, and that could be bad. So I'm trying to
Gotcha.
listen now. Now I'm talking to Sam. He can make if he wants to do music. He sends me a list of
Mm.
maybe 5 tracks. I love these tracks. Okay, I say I can listen to it. If I'm into them, I'm going to listen to them also. And it started out just in this way that I'm listening to some stuff there, and all of a sudden I'm doing the same music in my
Mm.
music program. So I don't know, but I think every music maker is doing this. It's thinking like this because you can't do music from scratch because you have to listen to other types of music. But then again, many musicians are very much into one thing
Sure.
because they're going to get big in that thing. But we know for certain that they are also listening to various sounds and
Mm.
genres because that's where you get it. You can get new stuff by mixing things. And
Mm.
I think cinematic is what I'm trying to mixing, even though you can't hear it. But there is always there because I don't just I often I don't do music like you have a verse and a bridge and you have a
Mm.
chorus and a bridge and a verse. There are some rules that really are working,
Mm.
and just the recent song that isn't released, I have started doing that. But before I don't like chorus, you know.
Right.
I want it to be techno all the way, but driven, but so you can dance or nudge your head or do whatever you think, something that is really good, and just
Right.
repeat it.
Right. And I think that's what kind of grabbed me about it. And I mean, like some of the language whenever I go to recommend, Majesty is what I've been like having people check out. Though I'm a big fan of the back catalog and your first record as well. But you know, I've been using words like, you know, it's fresh. It's really got a lot of energy. It's got something to it that I can't quite put my finger on. But I don't know. I think that you know, when it comes to artists, I feel like, you know, and this is a conversation I had with my one of my previous guests, Samantha Franco from Bara Hari. She was saying that, you know, it's you the drive. You're not growing as an artist if you're making the same record over and over. So I mean,
No,
as
no.
far as like, you know, innovating on what you're doing, I think it's extremely important. And you know, if somebody listens to one record and then they check out, that's fine. You know, there's going to be those hardcore fans underneath that are eagerly awaiting the next record and are going to buy the vinyl
Yeah.
for it and what have you. Um, it's interesting though that so it almost kind of sounds like you limit your exposure to sort of outside influences in a way. Um,
Yeah, I'm trying. Not, yeah, I'm
mhm,
trying because I had to think about what I'm doing, because
right,
uh, when you feed the brain with something, it not something is coming out. So you have to be careful. But
right.
just about what I said about, you know, industrial metal. If you listen to industrial metal on Spotify, for instance, the editorial,
Mhm,
I've been there for 2 years now with Royal Leash,
right,
and super appreciated it and super grateful for being there. So love it. But if you listen to many of these songs from Rammstein to Pain, and very the most artists have have a chorus,
right,
and for a chorus to work, it has to be super duper perfect and just nailing it. And that's not often it is, because the most music have maybe a story, or you have something to tell, so but then the chorus hits in. uh, they just do it because they have to do a chorus.
right.
they as the song isn't better because of the chorus.
Mhm,
Also, probably about around 90% of all songs in the whole world don't need a chorus,
right,
but people know that you need a chorus because people can relate to the chorus. Oh, now here it comes, the chorus. So you can say, like for instance, Rammstein, super great band. Deutschland, you have heard it, I guess.
yes. Mhm,
Yeah, uh, that's that's a chorus.
right,
That's a real chorus that is working. Uh, then everyone wants to do that, and they say, "Oh, we gotta have that thing. You can say Deutschland and sing, and it's singable and it's awesome." But
right,
most of the time, I think many people think that you need to have a chorus that is amazing. I think you can have a good drive just in techno, as industrial metal
mhm,
and techno is related, as you know. So you could ditch the chorus and just go for it, or you can do a chorus for the whole song.
right.
That's more me. So just a little bit of explanation of how I'm thinking about making music.
Like soul. White rapper do it. Fight, slap, or shoot it. Fight, slap, or shoot it.
Sure. And it absolutely makes sense. And I don't know. I mean, we've all had those moments, right, where someone sends us a song or we start listening to something and we're like, oh, this is so good. And the vocals are coming and you're like, oh man, I hope these are good. And I mean, it's not that, I mean, there are some people who try to, I don't know, almost sort of sing something that maybe doesn't fit their voice or their vocal style or what have you. And one of the things that I think Processor does so well is just the little bit of vocals that you have adds so much to the music. And it sounds like on a couple of tracks you have a female guest vocalist. I apologize, I don't have her name, but is that something you intend to expand on? Are you going to include more vocals on future work, or?
Yeah, it's going to. You heard the Howler, the last single we have.
Yes.
With Modesty Beast. It's going to be all that, but more. So.
Gotcha.
I'm turning over. No, I'm not turning over. I'm just pushing Modesty Beast and Small Civil War, the new bands that I'm starting with Sam, and obviously I will go back to Processor after that. The Processor is it's an artist, it's me, yes, but I think it is as a producer more. I've done.
Gotcha.
Pretty much remixes and also so I think that's more. It's more of a brand Processor. So
gotcha. Okay.
But it's going to be more vocals and less vocals, hopefully. Okay. But just now it's more vocal, massive more vocal. So, but it's just the thing about when you don't have ability to sing. I can sing. I have sung on.
Oh, me either.
Several songs, but you can fix things like that.
Sure.
In the program, obviously, but you can't get that super feeling that a real singer can. Like Sam Fisher, he's a really good singer. But when you can't do that, you try to compensate it and make better music and better producing, and the small words that you put in must be great.
Right.
So.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think it's important to know that I don't get the words to say here. I can say it in Swedish, but
no, I get what you mean. Like, having to sort of understand your own limitations, I guess. Like, I love singing along to whatever I'm listening to, but I would never punish another human being with that sound that I make through my mouth hole when I'm attempting to sing. So Uh, but yeah, I absolutely get that. And it's something that, a lot of artists I feel struggle with because, there's so much insecurity around our voices. I mean, even just when I started doing a podcast,
Yeah.
recording, hearing my own voice, I was like, oh God, like I feel nauseous. But it's, you have to like get used to it and be like, okay, this is who I
Yeah.
am. And whether I like it or not, this is what I sound like. Um,
There's another thing also that I always have said, because I can't sing,
right.
but that's not the real target here. Because I've always said before, like, okay, that band does music and they are singing, so they are cheating. Because if you can do really good instrumental music, then you are better than anyone else. You know what I mean? It's so easy to say I love you and I say things that people like and just sing it out loud, and people can relate to a human voice more than instruments.
Mhm.
So that with that said, that's not the point. I only said that because I can't sing.
Right.
But in some ways, it is true, because if you can get an instrumental song to go really good and people are loving it, compared to someone is singing. So it's the achievement to get listeners from instrumental music is really bigger than singing, because you connect directly to the singer, because it's you can relate to it in another way. Most people don't play instruments, for instance, so they don't know actually what you're doing. They just hear something great. But if somebody say something, they know that, okay, I can say something, so I can sing along, and that's the real deal. So in some ways, I think that nowadays also. But I also think, but because if you are a singer, you can sing. You shouldn't let them lose either, because then they want to sing everywhere in the whole song.
Right.
Just because they can, and they sing really good, but you don't get any dynamics in the song or anything. It's just you hear that so many times. It's a really great singer, okay, but you don't have to sing super perfect all the time or in the whole song. You can.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Sure.
Just my point of view. So.
No, I get what you're saying, and it's an interesting perspective on it that I had never stopped to consider. Really, I'd never stopped to consider the fact that the burden, if you're writing instrumental music, that there's sort of a burden on you to, maybe not a burden, maybe that's not the word I want to use, but there's you're having to work incredibly hard, as you pointed out, to sort of try and reach a person on an emotional level. I mean, all art is emotional in some way or the other. But
it's in the state of mind. In instrumental music is also always in a state of mind where you are right now. Are you down or are you happy? Everything turns into. But if you hear a song that somebody is singing something, then they connect directly to the feeling. So
gotcha.
in these ways they are. But there are also always people who love instrumental music. So I'm not saying there isn't. So,
sure.
But in a way. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Are there sort of along those lines? Are there any artists or vocalists out there that you've sort of been wanting to work with now that Processor is kind of getting some traction?
Yeah. You always want to work with good people that have a great voice. That's
Right.
that's a fact.
Sure.
Now, I think I have a really great singer. So Sam Fisher, Samtar. I didn't know him. I just met him in November, I think, October, maybe. I don't
Gotcha.
know. But this is going to be so good. He's a great singer. He has not that much listener on Spotify, but he has a great song and a great songwriter also. So if I should say someone, so should it be Samtar, because that's the dude I'm working with right
Gotcha.
now. But if I could wish, then obviously they're gone. But I don't think he wants to work with me.
Not yet. Give it time. If I have anything to say about it, he'll be, banging your door down.
Yeah.
So again, I've been loving everything I've heard from Processor. And we're coming up on recording of about 40 minutes, and I want to be sensitive to your time. So one thing that I do usually close my show out with is just asking people kind of what they're enjoying right now. So just, and the answer can be anything. It can be, a book that really struck you, or a movie, or whatever. Just what's something that really brought you a lot of joy recently?
Just recently. It must have been the whiskey.
The whiskey? Well,
it's Saturday, so
that's true. That's fair.
Just recently, I'm going to say something about something. I'm going to say a book.
Okay.
That's book. 3 books, honestly, but it's Justin Cronin. What's the name on English? I don't know.
I can try and
the
look it up.
girl from. Let's see. Should it be?
The Passage trilogy. Is that
yes, the Passage trilogy.
Gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
That's really. I've been reading them 3 times, I think now.
Oh wow!
Really, really great book. Really great writer, and really good dystopy of the future. Love it.
Gotcha.
And some vampires also. So really good.
Okay.
And that's my tips for reading.
Gotcha. Okay. That sounds awesome. I'll have to recommend it to my wife. She's just been gotten back into reading something that I've been putting off. But
if I going to say something that this particular book series hasn't really inspired me, but the one that inspired, let's see, I don't know which album I have. I must check Spotify. I have one other book series that inspired Let's see. No, I don't. The album Red Machine, I think it was. Red Machine. Gordon. No. The Game. The album Game is
Gotcha.
by Red Rising. Amazing book series about people living on Mars. And
Gotcha.
That's a really good book too.
Gotcha.
Red Rising by I don't know. I don't remember his. Yes, Pierce
Gotcha.
Brown. Yes, that's you have to read it. It's so good. Red Rising and Justin Cronin, those two series, super good. The Passage, Passage and Red Rising.
Okay. All right. I will have to check it out. Yeah, my wife's been reading a ton, just devouring books and book series lately. I'm way behind on my reading, but I'll in a similar vein, I'll try and recommend a book. It's a classic. I'm sure many people listening, and I'm sure you've probably read it, but Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five.
No, I haven't.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
No.
It's I can't recommend it enough. It's not necessarily dystopian, but it's sort of it's an interesting look at life and the human experience. It does a lot of things with the way we experience the world and our perception of time. It's very sweet. It's very profound. My wife actually bought me a first edition copy signed by Vonnegut. I love it so much. I can't recommend it enough.
Okay, Slaughterhouse-Five.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I see it here in Swedish. Okay.
Yeah.
Billy Pilgrim. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's something I have to read.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely love it. What about what's the last good movie you watched? This is what I want to hear.
The last good. That's really hard to say, honestly. Recently, I've been watching movies that I have seen before, and I saw them again. But the last really good movie.
Or just what's a movie that you think everybody should sit and watch?
Okay, that's. That's a hard thing to say, That's where, but my absolute favorite movie, that's like growing up, If you asked me that for a couple of years ago, I would have said Jurassic Park, but that's not a good movie.
You don't think
anymore.
so?
But nah.
Wow.
It was,
I mean, it was good at the time.
It was really, really good movie. I know that the second it came out on VHS, we ran to the store and bought it and just watched it over and over and over. But that's the best movie. I think Inception. That's a really good movie.
Okay. All right.
It is. That's pretty new, I think.
Sure.
Inception. But there are many good movies. My favorite movie, I don't really know what that movie is. Yeah, of course. Escape from New York, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I can watch that. It's.
I mean, I love John Carpenter.
It's funny in a way, but also there is when you saw it for the first time and you heard the soundtrack, it's amazing. And the story, it's not the best, but it's pretty cool anyway, I think.
Right.
So,
well, I mean, and plus
I can watch that.
Same. I love that movie, and I love John Carpenter. I mean, I think what's interesting about Escape from New York is just that it was kind of a simple concept, and like nobody'd really ever done anything quite like that up to that point. Just like Assault on Precinct 13. Another Carpenter movie that I just absolutely love that catches you by surprise. And like so many films have, sort of borrowed tropes from Carpenter and Carpenter's films. I think that's a great recommendation. I love Escape from New
Yeah.
York, and I don't know. I think Jurassic Park kind of holds up, but see, like as I've gotten older, I find myself not liking things with children.
It's it's like that. It's technical, you know.
Yeah,
That's the way. So
yeah,
it's like uh, what it's called. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I liked
Uh,
those things a lot once, but maybe not so much now. I try and devote my
Terminator,
time.
obviously.
Right.
Terminator, Terminator One. Yeah, Terminator One was really cool to watch when you were young, and Terminator Two was that amazing technique. Once
Right.
again, you loved it just because of that. So it's technique.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, some things just don't age well. Do you remember the
No.
movie from the 90s, Hackers? Did you ever see that?
No, don't know.
It's bad. Don't look it up. It's not worth your time, but it aged horribly. It is so bad. So yeah, just stay away from that. Just ignore it.
I have another thing.
Okay.
Let's see. One film from 1997,
Okay.
Cube.
Oh, I have seen Cube. I love that movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And you know, it's obviously a low budget movie.
Sure.
So then they made Cube 2 and Cube 3.
Right.
That wasn't really good, but that film was really amazing when I
Yeah.
saw it for the first time.
Same.
That was a really great film.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it too because, like you said, low budget, but it was really high concept.
Yeah.
Sort of similar to that. It's on, or at least it was. It was on the U.S. Netflix for a while. It's a newer film called Circle, and if you liked Cube, Circle is very similar, kind of along the same lines.
Circle. Okay.
Yeah, super
I
good.
gotta check that out.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're about at time, and I don't want to keep you. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your whiskey and your Saturday evening.
You're not keeping me up. It's okay.
All right. Well, again, thank you so much for your time and for rescheduling. I'm terribly sorry about last weekend. I just like
What was it? Your dog that didn't
Yes.
wake you up?
yeah.
Do you have a dog as a wake up call?
I mean,
A real dog?
yeah. I mean, she just like wakes me up in the middle of the night when she needs something. It's a small old Chihuahua, and
Okay.
she can't get up onto the bed, but she can scratch at the bed, and so she woke me up a few times because she needed to be tucked back in because my
Okay.
dog is that much of a child. She has her own bed that she has a little blanket, and I have to tuck her in before. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But she woke me up a couple of times, and so like I just slept through my alarm, and I felt so terrible. And I mean, of course, when you're reading text, you can't really decipher how someone means something. So when I was reading your text, I'm like, he's pissed. He's never going to come on the show again.
No,
He's going to tell me to fuck off, and that's going to be the end of it. And then I can't listen to his music anymore. Damn it.
Yeah. That's the thing about texting. It's so hard. So it's much easier to just speak
Right.
or video chat.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm totally honored to be a part of the show, and I'm truly grateful for you to listening to my music. And I can assure you that it's coming a lot of more from Processor in the
Gotcha.
future.
Gotcha. Well, I will. I'm definitely going to check out Wicked Boy because I I'd seen the
There are
name on a
some,
couple of processor tracks, maybe.
yeah, I'm trying to push that too also, but
Gotcha.
there are some pretty decent track from Wicked Boy. Honestly, I have a couple of records from that are released on Magna too, and that is pretty cool. Laid back, ambient, obviously, but pretty cool.
Gotcha.
But old, really, really old also, so you can hear that too. So it's really lo-fi, but music is also growing. So
Right.
it gets better, I hope.
You've definitely gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So onwards and upwards, right? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
will. I'll check that out. I'll check out Modesty Beast, and I can't wait to hear what you do next. And thank you so much for your time and for coming on the show and messing around with Discord and getting it working and everything. I
It
will.
was the first time, so I'm really glad I could make it.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
I will let you know as soon as this goes up. And in the future, going forward, if there's anything I can do to help you out with, promoting, or if you want to come back on the show or anything like that, just feel free to reach
Yeah.
out to me. I'm happy to volunteer my time.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much. Have
Yeah.
a great rest of your evening.
The same to you, and have it great. Are you going to have dinner now? No, it's 11. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 11. I'm gonna go wake my wife up and probably try and make some breakfast here.
But when do you go up in the morning? I mean, don't you go to bed around the 10, 11, or do you sit up all night and do things? Or
It's 11 a.m. here. So I do usually stay up pretty late, but and we were
yeah,
up pretty late last night, but she's still asleep, and I got up to make sure that I I didn't miss this. I didn't want to a repeat, so I got up extra early to make sure I was awake.
it's pretty different from me. I have work. I work as a carpenter, so I work
Oh
full
wow,
time.
gotcha.
Yeah, so I'm up at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh
That's
wow.
not just another thing. I've been speaking a lot to American people
Mhm.
lately, and why do you use that AM and PM? That's not good for anyone. Just say 16:00, then everybody knows what
I
time
mean,
it is.
we're
I-
honestly, that's what we were. I mean, like, it's the same reason we don't use the metric system because it just it
yeah, the
has to
metric,
be different. And we're
it has to, and
yeah,
and it's like I'm saying. Oh, I'm here in Sweden now. It's 2 minus degrees, and you will say something in Fahrenheit, and I'm like, what? Why do you have Fahrenheit? You everybody in the whole world are using Celsius, but
right,
you use Fahrenheit.
right.
That's yard, as you say, yard. Are you driving? How fast are you driving? 19 kilometers per hour. You go, and you say, miles, or yeah.
Right. And I mean, the
Couldn't you
thing
just make it
is,
easier?
we should. We absolutely should. But I mean, it's like the funny thing is that most people don't actually know the imperial system, which is what that's miles and all that kind of shit. Don't even get me
Yeah.
started on measuring liquids like and ounces and
Yeah.
all that. Low, no. Anyway, so most people don't even know it. It has like weird stuff in it that's like, oh, a king's acorn or a king's thumb or some shit like that. And it's like, no one measures jack shit in this.
We used to measure people by foot,
Yeah.
and you had a couple of, I know, armbåge. Vad heter det på engelska? I just have to nail it up. You can, for a long time ago, 15 centuries or something, armbåge. Vänta.
I don't know. It's weird.
Elbow, your elbow. You can measure elbow.
Yeah,
also.
that's right.
Elbow and foot. That's, you know, oh, it's funny, but it's the way it is. But
Yeah, it's not great. I it really isn't. And
I guess
honestly, I would love to be able to make that switch to because when you're all like, oh yeah, 2100 or 1900 or whatever, I'm all like, oh shit, I gotta go look this up. And so it was like, I wish I could be unprogrammed from AM PM, but it's just like, so it's all over our culture, it's all over, so it's just like we're stuck, strapped to this antiquated system.
but it isn't that hard anyway. It's AM. You can say after midnight, but it has a different explaining. It's some form of Latin, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but AM.
Sure. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm just stuck. I'm a slave to the system, and
Yeah.
I would love to try and change, but change is hard.
You don't have to change. It's just that you have. You can misunderstand people just in that case.
Sure.
That's just the point.
Gotcha.
You don't have to change anything.
Okay. All right. Well, I will try not to. But I again, thank you for coming on the show and for making time to have a chat. I can't wait to see what you'd make next. And man, I don't know if do you know Tom Alsberg from Priest?
No, I know they are from Sweden but I don't know him in person. But
gotcha.
I have a feeling that I may have in the future. Maybe I could speak to them.
Yeah, he's currently doing working in Brides of the Black Room. I love that guy. He's a really, really friendly person. Another great Swede. And
all of us from Sweden are friendly.
I've noticed. I had Anders and Yaz on the show from Ashbury Heights, and they were very friendly. I'm noticing that. I've been making a lot of Swedish friends. Katarina Olesen, photography. She's wonderful. Every person I've met from Sweden has just been so polite and so friendly. It's funny actually. The podcast is a little bit bigger in Sweden than it is here in the States, which is totally okay with me. Like it just so happens that I keep having Swedish artists on my show by accident, just because I love their music. So in the case of Brides of the Black Room, Ashbury Heights, yourself, it's just how it shakes out.
I have a little info about Modesty Beast. Modesty is me, and Beast is Sam, because he's from USA. I'm best. I can everything, but we in Sweden are more like, oh, well, let's see if it's going. I don't know. Maybe it's going to happen. We're not in Sweden. We're not that. We're not pushing ourselves. We're like hiding ourselves and hoping for everything to just solve itself. So
sure, that makes sense. I can appreciate that now, especially Beast for an American. That seems pretty.
No, that's a joke, obviously, but then we said it. Then when he said it, I said, I could be Modesty, you can be Beast.
That absolutely works. That absolutely applies. All right. Well, I will let you go. And again, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your evening with your whiskey and some good music.
Yeah. The same to you, and have a great day too.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.